fashion designers. You're welcome to class. This is Modern Woman Apparel. I want to thank as many of you who have subscribed to this channel, and if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please feel free to join us by clicking on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that you will get notified whenever I upload a new video. So in today's class, we're going to be doing the sewing tutorial of this corset top here. In the part 1 of this video, we did the drafting of this pattern here. This is the front set and this is the back set. It's a class you wouldn't want to miss, especially if you are a beginner, because it is well detailed and also beginners friendly. So if you want to know how we drafted this pattern, the link to the part 1 of this video is in the description box below. That is the drafting class for this corset top, so feel free to click on the link to check it out. Hi guys, we finally made it to the cutting table. So as you can see, I'll be making use of this beautiful African print here. Remember, you can make use of any fabric of your choice, and I'm also making use of this lining here. As you can see, this is the front set here. So what I did is to add ½ inch here at the upper part here, ½ inch here, and ½ inch here, also ½ inch here. Remember, I'll be joining these two together like this with this ½ inch here. I also added this ½ inch here and here. This ½ inch that I added here is to join it with the curve. Then by the side here, I added 1 inch. I also did same to the lining, as you can see. Then these are the curves. Remember, for this, you are going to cut it unfold. You are not going to slash through the center. As you can see, this is unfold. Now for these two, you are cutting 2 of it, one for the right hand side and one for the left hand side. Now for the curves, you are also cutting 2 of the curves for each of these. Like for this second one, you're cutting 2 of it. For the first one also, you're cutting 2 of it. Same thing with the lining. So for the cup, I also added ½ inch all through. So add ½ inch all through. You're going to be using these 2 ½ inch here to join the 2 cups together. The upper part is to turn this with the lining, while the lower part is to join it to this other body part here. I hope you get that. Now for the cup, I'll be making use of this wording. This is for this part here, while this is for this other part here. As you can see, like this. Then for the upper part, you can see I left ½ inch on the upper part. I added the same ½ inch I added on this place, but for this upper part here, I didn't add seam allowance to this. Reason is because while turning this to the lining, you don't need a budge here around here. You don't need that heaviness that it gives. So do not add ½ inch to this upper part for your wording. Remember, for this cup side, you can make use of any cup of your choice. You can make use of this wording. You can also use a homemade bra cup. This is a breast pad. You can make use of a breast pad. You can also make use of an already made bra cup. It all depends on what you want, but for this tutorial, I'm going to be making use of this wording. Now another thing is I'll also be making use of this hairstay interfacing for the main fabric. Now for the lining, I'm going to be infusing this paper stay on the lining. And this is the back side. Remember, we have already eliminated the dart, so we are cutting this as one piece. I added, this is the center back here, the CB. I added ½ inch to it. the upper part, 1/2 inch here. I use this to indicate the part that is going up and the side that is coming down. And this is the side back, the same 1 inch I added to the side front is also the same 1 inch I added to the side back. Now this is the down part of it. We are using this to turn it with the lining. Another thing we'll be making use of is this cotton bias tape here. I'll be using it to form the boning channels, and I'll be inserting this plastic bone here. Remember, you can also make use of a sewable boning, but for this I'm making use of this plastic boning. Maybe in subsequent classes I will show you how to attach the sewable boning. And I'm going to take all of this, attach this hairstay to the main fabric, attach this to the lining, and also gum this to the cups. Remember, you can sew this on its own, and after that you gum to the cup, and you can also attach it to the fabric before sewing it together. Whichever way that works for you, it's perfect, it's okay. So for me, I'm going to be attaching this to the cup like this, to each of these pieces here before sewing them together. Now I've gone ahead to iron my interfacing to all the pieces here, like I said I would. So next thing we're going to be doing is the sewing proper. Now these are the cups. Like I told you, I would be attaching the wording to the cup pieces. Now what I would do is to pick up, this is cup 1 here. These 2 pieces are for the cup 1, while these 2 are for the cup, the second part of the cup. So what I would do now, like I use this, you can see I use this arrow to indicate the part that is going up, and the side I will be using to attach the other part like this. So these 2 are coming together here. So what I will do is to pick up one part of cup 1 and that of cup 2, take it to my sewing machine like this, and stitch it together. Same thing I'm also going to do to this part here. So remember, we made this part unfold, so when we open it up, it's going to be like this. So this is the center part of this top, while this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. So what I will do is I'm going to stitch these 2 together, turn it right side facing each other like this, stitch it together with the 1/2 inch seam allowance that we left. Same thing I'm also going to do to this other part, turn it right side facing each other, and I will stitch it up with the 1/2 inch seam allowance that we left while cutting. After taking it to my sewing machine, this is what we have. As you can see, I've also gone ahead to open press the same lines. Now for the cups, I've also joined them together like this. Join them together. So what I would do now is to pick up my ball here, place it underneath this, and open press this part here. So if you have a steam iron, you make use of your steam iron. So you open press like this. So after doing this part, you also turn it to this other side here like this and press. This is what you're going to do to the other cup. So as you can see, our cup is standing so well. Next, we're going to be attaching the cups to these bodies here, but before we do that, we're going to bring in the boning channel. So we're going to sew this boning channel to this line. On the same line here, you're going to attach one boning channel. Remember, you can attach as much as you want, but for this I'm just going to be making use of 3 boning channels for the front. So one is going to be on this seam line here like this here. The other is going to be on the center of this place here, this center line here, center front. One is going to be here, and another is going to be on this other same line here. I'm going to be using this bony channel here to cover up the same line. So what I'll do is to place this thing here, then run a stitch on it like this, one part on this side and the other on this side. So I'm going to run 2 stitches across this. After attaching the boning channel, this is what I have. What I'll do next is to take this cup. Remember, this is the first cup here, so this first cup is coming to this inner side here, to the center front, while the second one is coming to the side. So don't make mistake of placing this second one on the inner side and placing this first one by the side. So in that case, that means that this one here is coming to this side. So I'll pick up this cup now, match this seam line I have here with this center seam I have here, like this. Pin it up and sew from this to this place and to this other side. I'll do that for the 2 cups and come back show you what we have. After attaching the cups, this is what I have. As you can see, this is the back, the inside. So what I did is to notch this place, give it notch here. You can see also to this place. Now look at what I did on this part of the cup. I top stitch. I made tiny top stitching to this place. So this is optional. If you want to make use of this, you can top stitch this cup here, or you can decide to leave it this way. The reason, the essence of this is to give the cup more push. So if you want, you can leave it this way, but me, I prefer giving it a little top stitching on this cup area here. So I'll still do same to this other side. Now, having done with this part, what we are going to do is to cut the back side. So this is the back side here, like this. So I will come in by 1/2 inch on this side here. So this is it, come in by 1/2 inch. Remember, we left 1/2 inch to this side to join this main fabric to the lining. So the same 1/2 inch, you're also going to take it on this other part here. Remember, this place is the center front, the center back. So the same 1/2 inch, we're also going to make a mark there. So what we're going to do now is to attach this boning channel here. Before the mark of the 1/2 inch, attach this boning. And remember, you can attach as many as you want, but for this, I'm going to be attaching 2 on each of these back panel here. So I'll attach here, then give a space of like about 1 inch and attach the other. Now this is the back part, as you can see. So my eyelets will be here. I'll be installing my eyelets on this line here. Now what we're going to do next is to carry this back side now. This is the back, this is the front part, and this is the side front, while this is the back side back. So we're going to attach these 2 together with the 1 inch seam allowance that we left by the side. After this side, we also attach this side with the same 1 inch seam allowance that we left. After joining, this is what I have. As you can see, it's coming out so beautiful. What I would do is to turn this front side, right side facing each other like this. I'm going to trim any side that is not aligning with the other. So I'm placing them, these 2 seam lines here meeting each other here. The 2 side seam meeting each other here, like this. going to trim here out here, and also trim this part here. To meet up with this part. Now after this, what I'm going to do is to turn this with the lining. So I'm going to go ahead and make the lining, join the lining pieces just the way I joined this, but the only difference is that the lining will not be having this boning channels here. This is what I have for the lining fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to place this together and sew with 1/2 inch. But before I do that, as you can see, this 1/2 inch seam allowance that we have by the center back, I have already pressed it down like this. This is what you will do on the 2 sides. Press in the seam allowance. Now after that, I've also gone ahead to bring out the strap. So how did I know the length of this strap? What I did is to bring in my front and back pattern. Remember the upper part that we cut out. So this is where I want the strap to be, on this line here. So what I did is to measure what I have here. As you can see, this is about 6.25. I also did same to the back part, exactly where I want the strap to be. I also measured the part there. These are about 8.25. So I added 8.25 plus 6.25, and whatever it gives me, what I will do is to come to this side, add 1/2 inch to join it to this place, and also add 1/2 inch here. As for these two, I'm going to be cutting them. So having done this, what I will do now is to determine, like I said, I want this to start from exactly this line here. So I'll come to this line here and I'll pin it like so. Then I'll also go to the back and do same thing. Like I entered from this place here by 3 inches. I also pinned it down like this. Now I will bring the back part, place it on it, matching all the same lines together. This is the center part meeting the center, the 2 seam lines meeting each other like this, and I will pin. So after pinning, this is what we have. What we're going to do now is to take this to the sewing machine and run a stitch on this upper part here. After running a stitch on the upper part, what we're going to do next is to insert the boning into this before closing up the down part. So I'll take this to my sewing machine and run a stitch with the 1/2 inch seam allowance that we added to the upper parts. This is what I have after sewing. As you can see, I also made use of hemming tape, so this will enable me iron this flat when I turn it over. I also gone ahead to give it tiny notches on the curvy parts, the curved areas. So what I'm going to do now is to insert the bones, and before we can do that, we have to turn it over to this side. Now we're going to insert this boning to the boning channel. So what I'm going to do first is measure the length of the boning channels. So from here, you measure what you have. So this is 10.75. I'm going to go up here by 1/2 inch. Remember, we left 1/2 inch to join this main fabric here with the lining. So you're going to remove 1/2 inch from the boning channels like this. That means your boning will be stopping here on this mark here. You're not extending it down to this seam allowance here. So what I'm going to do now is cut out. So after cutting it out like this, what I'm going to do is to bring in my paper tape, use it to wrap it up like this. wrap it up. As you can see, fold it. Also fold the down part. Use this to wrap up this sharp edge here. Now to insert this, you can either decide to press this flat with your iron, or if you want to go ahead to insert it like this, what you're going to do is to face it. Look at the way I'm placing it, not like this, please. If you place it this way, it's going to give you a protruding stomach. So what I'm going to do is to bend it this way, turn it this way. So this is what I mean, cutting off this part here. So see the way I'm placing it. I'll push it in. You can see it didn't get up to the seam allowance, so you can see how it's bending. But if you place it on the wrong side, if you turn it this way to place it on the wrong side, this is what you will get. You can see instead of it being flat like this, it's giving you a protruding stomach. So it's always necessary for you to place it the right way, like this. You can see it's bending down instead of folding up like this. So this is how you're going to insert this boning to all the boning channels. After inserting the bones, this is what we have. Next, we're going to do is to turn it again to the wrong side like this, the right side facing each other. Take it to the sewing machine and close this part up with the 1/2 inch seam allowance that we left while cutting. Just this part. After this part, I'll show you what you're going to do to this part. Remember, this side is going to be on fold while you stitch like this. Now also, what I want you to know is that you can make use of any size of boning of your choice, and the size of this boning channel here is determined by the size of the boning you're using. So if you're making use of a bigger bone, definitely the size of this boning channel here will increase. After stitching up this line here, we're going to turn it over to the right side through these two channels here, through these two openings here. Now you can also decide to, as you can see, I've already trimmed here out a little bit. You can decide to trim up this upper part here, but don't let it affect your hemming gum. After that, we'll turn. So we're going to turn it to the right side from this opening here. So after turning it to this front side, so this is what we have after ironing. As you can see, this is the back part, the inside, looking so beautiful, and this is the right side of it. Now we are going to close up these two parts here, this part and this part. So what we're going to do now is to top stitch on this line here. Remember, this part here, the rough edges are folded in. Remember, I told you to fold it in like this. Same with this other side here, fold it in. Now for those of us that have been making use of loop, this is where your loop will come in here. Open this up like this and insert your loop. Remember, this part here is folded in. I'm just using this for illustration purpose So while top stitching, your loop is already in between this main fabric and your lining fabric. So as you top stitch on this, as you top stitch, you place your loop. The same thing you're going to do to the other part, to this part. But for me, I'm not going to be attaching loop. Like I said earlier, that I will be making use of eyelet. So what I'll just do now is to close this place up by top stitching. So guys, I've gone ahead to top stitch this. As you can see, I've top stitched the two sides. I've also gone ahead to install the eyelet. So I have a tutorial, a detailed tutorial on how you can install the eyelet, and the link to the tutorial is on the description below. So if you want to see how I made this eyelet, you can click on the link to check it out. So what I'm going to do next is to cut the modesty panel. I'll be making use of this doll face satin. On this center back here, I'm going to put it on fold. So I'll cut the center back on fold. I'll come to this upper part here. I'll add 1/2 inch. Come to this side here, add 2 inches. Come to this lower part here, add 1/2 inch. I'm also going to cut this again. I need 2 pieces of this. So this is for the right side and one will be for the wrong side of this top. Now this 1/2 inch I added here, remember I said I also cut out a piece of this again, is to join the 2 pieces together, and also here to join the 2 pieces together by the downside. Then this part here, by the time I use 1/2 inch to join the other back side, I'll be left with 1 inch. So remember, this is not just going to stop here at the back. I'm going to tuck it in like this. The remaining 1 inch will be used to tuck this in to this place. I hope you understand. So after cutting now the other piece, what I will do is to iron my interfacing on the 2 pieces. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and run a stitch here to this place, joining the 2 pieces together. This is what I have after stitching, as you can see. So I made a stitch all through to this place and left a little opening here. From this, I'm going to turn this over to the right side. So what I'm going to do now is to take this to my ironing table, give it a good press. After that, on this part here, this opened part, fold the rough part in by 1/2 inch. Then I'll top stitch to close it up. So this is what I have. Start ironing, turning and ironing the modesty panel. So what I'm going to do now is to attach it on this part of this top. So I'm going to attach it before this eyelet here. I'll push it in and make sure my stitches are entering, is coming towards this line here, this seam line I have here, or you can decide to trace it, top stitch on this seam line you have here. So that is the essence of all those allowances that we added while we were cutting it, transferring the pattern of this modesty panel to the fabric. So this is what I have. As you can see, all done, looking so beautiful. So this is how it would be. I've also gone ahead to make this lace here, or rope, that I will be attaching through this place. So guys, we are done with this class. What I will do next is to put this on. Let's see what we have. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to like, comment and share this video. And if you have any question, pertaining to this class, feel free to drop it on the comment section. And if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe and also turn on your notification bell so I get notified whenever I upload a new video. So guys, this is the final look of our top. You can see looking so beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next class. Bye for now.